Okay, yeah. In a battle of two pretty high up the middleweight contenders in a division that's pretty much ruled by Anderson Silva. Let's see. Michael Bisping may not be popular with a lot of people, but he puts numbers up in England. He's a superstar there and all that stuff. He's really put in his work. I don't know how many he's gotten the fight of the night 3 times. Ultimate Fighter winner 3. I don't know how many wins he has. He has like maybe, I want to say 14 or something. But yeah, I think in my personal opinion, he is more deserving of a title shot than the All-American Brian Stann at this point. But this is also a very close fight. Okay, long story short, Brian Stann is basically a intense, gritty brawler that's kind of reminiscent of a fresh Quentin Rampage Jackson, with no defensive wrestling. Or defense against submissions, either. So, in all honesty, you know what, I was going to pick Brian Stann to win this fight, because I didn't see Michael Bisping having the things that it took to beat Brian Stann, which is, a really great non-stop endurance and elite-level wrestling. Michael Bisping doesn't really have those. He has very good jiu-jitsu, but he's not the type of guy to pull off submissions off of his back, which is where I predict that he would be if Brian Stann wanted to try to wrestle with him. Because there's a chance Brian Stann might do that. Stan's probably going to be the more powerful striker, but Bisping, I see having the better jiu-jitsu in this fight, and the more technical, more crisp boxing that is going to be able to slip and counter most of what Brian Stann's going to do. I hope Brian Stann wins, but, long story short, I'm going to pick Michael Bisping to defeat Brian Stann by a very close split decision or unanimous decision. If it doesn't do that, if it doesn't go that far, Brian Stann could knock out Bisping. Bisping has shown that he does have a pretty good chin, when he's not getting punched by Dan Henderson. But, I hope Brian Stann gets it done, but I've got to pick the count in this matchup. Okay. Matt Hamill versus Roger Hollett. Matt Hamill, he retired last year after he lost to Alexander Gustafsson and Quentin Rampage Jackson. And he got that movie made, The Hammer, which I still haven't seen yet. I need to see it. But yeah, he's coming back. It seems like it's kind of a popular thing nowadays. BJ Penn, he retired. He's coming back too to fight Rory McDonald. So, this is pretty simple. I unfortunately don't know that whole lot about Roger Hollett. He'll be making his UFC debut. He trains out of he's fighting out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Light heavyweight. He is managed by Muay Thai instructor and champion Robert Walker, so his stand-up has got to be decent. But Matt Hamill is more than likely this is a situation that's designed to give Hamill a win, so that he can get back to maybe just either doing something else at light heavyweight, or maybe he'll retire after a win, because quite frankly, I don't know if he should be fighting still. Alright, next fight. This bout could have Fight of the Night written on it. If the Benavidez-Johnson fight ends up being, really slow. So, Cub Swanson versus Charles Oliveira. This is also a really tough one to pick. This one really could go either way. Cub Swanson really surprised me with his knockout over George Roop. I picked him to... Let me see. Yeah, I picked him to lose to George Roop. He knocked him out, and he beat Ross Pearson. Before that, he had lost to Ricardo Lamas in the UFC. And Charles Oliveira, at one point, it seemed like he was kind of on his way to doing big things. He had that really quick, really impressive submission win over to Darren Elkins. By the way, Oliveira has not yet been to a decision in his in his UFC career, yeah. Alright. He then submitted Efren Escudero, and I picked him to beat Jim Miller, and then he shockingly got knee-barred by Jim Miller. And after that, he submitted Nick Lentz, but due to an illegal knee, that was ruled a no contest, and then he got TKO'd by Donald Cerrone. And then he submitted Eric Wisely with a reverse calf slicer, which that could make submission of the year, if nothing else crazy happens. And then he anaconda choked Jonathan Brookins in a really impressive win right there. So if it hadn't been for the way he looked against Jonathan Brookins, because Jose Aldo was the only other guy before that to finish the Ultimate Fighter winner, Jonathan Brookins, I would have picked Cub Swanson, but I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira to win by second round submission in this fight. But Cub Swanson, he's going to need to keep this fight on the feet. He's going to need to use his standing, his superior boxing if he's going to win. He's going to have to win early, too. So, okay, and for the rest of the card, the FX card, here we go. I'm going to pick Igor Pokerjak, actually, to defeat Vinny Mangalas. I'm going to pick Evan Dunham to defeat TJ Grant. I saw TJ Grant in Virginia fight, along with Igor Pokrajak, or Pokerjak, however they pronounce it. Sean Pearson should be able to beat Lance Benoist. Jimmy Hedis, I'm going to pick him to defeat Marcus Brimage. And for the Facebook card, Seth Baczynski to defeat Simone Thorson. Wal Watson, I'm going to pick to beat Mitch Gannon. And Charlie Brenneman should be able to out-wrestle Kyle Noak. Alright, and, you know, this is a really great-looking card, you know. So, the originally was just going to be Benavidez and Johnson, but having John Jones and Belfort on this card hopefully will help the pay-per-view sales. And, yeah, it should be an amazing night tomorrow night. Don't miss it. Alright? And John Jones, keep the belt, but keep the rest of your life in check too, okay? Careful what you're doing when you're driving, and don't bite the hand that feeds you when it comes to the UFC and the fans, alright? Don't. Peace out.